Next on Today in St. Louis, tensions rise here as the fighting intensifies in Israel. Why security escorted some demonstrators out of the Board of Aldermen chambers.
And the view outside over the Gateway Arch, it's a beautiful start to the day, but this does come at a price. I'm going to tell you what we're going to see today in a few minutes.
Two big additions to the LU, the new places for golf and basketball fanatics to play here in St. Louis.
This is Today in St. Louis, focused on you.
Are you up? Are you up? We are waking up with a live look at both City Park Stadium and the Enterprise Center. You're getting a BOGO deal this morning.
BOGO.
If you're heading downtown this evening for any reason, you'll want to leave a few minutes early. We're expecting a decent amount of traffic as fans head downtown for City SC's final home match of the season and the Blues game against Sidney Crosby and the Penguins. The puck drops at 7 and City SC's match starts at 8. Well, good morning to you. It's Saturday, October 21st. I'm Travis Cummings.
And I'm Mercedes McKay. And it's so exciting when all this is happening downtown. I know that, City SC with its inaugural season is going into playoffs. What a good run they've had.
That's right.
We'll talk more about that later, obviously. And I also think with everything happening in the world, it's nice to have some
excitement,
fun things.
some joy.
Exactly.
Yeah. Speaking of joy, let's
Tracy.
get over to Tracy Henson because she's here with us.
I love
today.
it. I'm here. I know. And then I find out, Travis, you're leaving me tomorrow for a birthday. Geez, what can you do? All right. We'll be together for a while at some point, I think, hopefully in November. Nice, beautifully sunny conditions out there. Temperature-wise, it's 60 degrees. Humidity's also at 60%, which is a low for this time of the day, and it's going to continue to be low throughout the entire day today. Winds are out of the west at just under 15 miles per hour. Through the rest of our day, today in St. Louis, we're going to make it up into the mid-70s. We're going to be nice and sunny today, and then we're dropping off into the low 60s as we make our way into the evening. For tonight, we're looking at cool conditions, temperatures in the upper 40s. Winds will be out of the north at about 5 to 15 miles per hour. We're looking at sunset at about 6:15. Now coming up, I'll outline a 7-day forecast, which does have some decent rain in it. And I'll tell you why I think that our forecast is a little different than the one on your phone.
Thanks, Tracy. We will see you soon. Well, new this morning, an encouraging update for those trapped in Gaza at the Egyptian border. About 3 hours ago, around 20 aid trucks passed into Gaza from Egypt carrying food, water, and medical supplies. We'll hear more about the aid efforts at Rafah in about 20 minutes. Now, this comes just 12 hours after we received confirmation that Hamas released 2 American hostages into Israel custody. They are Evanston, Illinois residents Judith Rana and her daughter, Natalie. Now, all of this happened as Hamas kidnapped them during the initial attack on Israel on October 7th. They were visiting family near the Gaza border. This morning, we're hearing from their husband and father.
I've been waiting for this moment for a long time, for 2 weeks. I haven't been sleeping for 2 weeks. Tonight I'm going to sleep good. Hopefully I'm going to see them next week. Next week is Natalie's birthday on the 24th, and we're going to celebrate her birthday here in my home.
Oh, Hamas's military spokesperson says the group released the 2 for humanitarian reasons in an agreement with the Qatari government. The U.S. is now focusing on the release of 10 other Americans.
And more information on the war. Tensions are growing here in St. Louis as the war unravels in Israel. Yesterday, police ushered dozens of Palestinian American protesters out of the St. Louis Board of Aldermen chambers as they discussed a resolution supporting the Israeli military. Our political editor, Mark Maxwell, walks us through what happened.
This is the room where aldermen typically consider mundane policies about speed bumps, zoning, or housing.
33% more stringent.
But on this day,
and it's a conversation that nobody wants to talk about.
One of the world's most protracted conflicts boiled over at City Hall. Police ultimately ushered dozens of Palestinian protesters out of the chambers. After the clerk read Alderman Tom Oldenburg's resolution into the record.
The Board of Aldermen stands in solidarity with Israel as it defends itself against the barbaric war launched by Hamas.
You're not human enough to do what we're saying.
Shame on you, Alderman Oldenburg.
He mentioned the barbarism and the heinous crimes and the terrorist Hamas, but he didn't once mention the Palestinians killed by the Israelis. He even went as far to mention the Palestinians killed by Hamas, but he didn't mention the Palestinians killed by Israeli.
The words alone would have been just that, words.
We don't really have what you think the power to do this.
But those words were powerful enough to open wounds.
There's been a lot of tragedy in our community.
Some old and some new.
I know one person here in St. Louis who lost 14 members of his family in Gaza.
After tempers flared, Oldenburg apologized, saying he regrets the pain and tension his resolution caused.
And we want you to speak.
7 of the 14 members of the board stayed behind to hear them out.
This is the first alderman meeting I've ever been to.
Omar Badran urged city officials to call on Congress and the president to support a ceasefire.
If you don't have the moral conviction and courage to stand up in a situation like this, then I think you don't even really deserve a position in any elected office.
Reporting in St. Louis, Mark Maxwell, 5 on your side.
Heard a very active discussion there. The public can comment on the board's Israel resolutions in the coming week as they move through committee.
Right now, investigators are trying to understand the extent of a data breach at St. Louis University. The school says someone got access to staff and students' personal information, including social security numbers and medical history, between December of 2022 and July of this year. Now, the school is sending letters to those people who were impacted. Webster University will soon have a new chancellor. Elizabeth Strobel announced she will retire December 31st. Now, the announcement comes after a report found Webster lost more than $128 million in the last decade. Last month, students protested budget cuts as well as the pay raises for Strobel and President Julian Schuster. Now, that same day, the faculty passed a vote of no confidence in both administrators. Strobel says she'll participate in Webster alumni relations and fundraising in her retirement.
And I can ask my friends if they want to come down to play basketball.
There's a new spot for kids and adults to shoot some hoops in St. Louis. How the city hopes it will impact the community, and the other park planning to add courts of its own.
And a fun way to trick or treat and learn at the same time. Today's Halloween festival with an emphasis on fire safety.
And we are cooling off tonight with temperatures in the mid-40s. I'll go over the wild temperatures we have this week.